You cannot make up what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Kansas City Chiefs news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Xavier Worthy is going to shock a lot of people this NFL season. Kansas City Chiefs first-round draft pick Xavier Worthy is off to a great start with the team, according to ESPN. People I've talked to there in the building say he's soaking up the playbook. Really good football character so far, so much more than just a speed guy, Fowler said Sunday on SportsCenter. Fowler added the Chiefs pursued Zay Jones in free agency, with him instead signing a 1-year contract with the Arizona Cardinals. Having Worthy hit the ground running helps to offset failing to land Jones. The Baltimore Ravens will begin their 2024 campaign against the team that ended their previous season, the Kansas City Chiefs. The AFC Championship game rematch is just one of the subplots of the September 5 game between the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs and Ravens. It also pits the last 2 regular season MVPs, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, against each other. Lamar's athleticism is second to none, Chiefs safety Justin Reid said prior to the Chiefs' 17-10 win against the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. Both quarterbacks have 2 regular season MVP awards apiece, but Mahomes has the definite edge in the head-to-head matchups. Jackson is just 1-4 against Mahomes and previously called the Chiefs his kryptonite. The Ravens, though, added a super weapon, signing running back Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $16 million contract. He replaces Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, who both signed with the Los Angeles Chargers for 2 years and $6.5 million and 1 year and $1.6 million, respectively. Look for the Ravens to make their running game more of a priority in this contest. In that loss to the Chiefs, the run-heavy Ravens shockingly handed the ball off to their running backs just 8 times. On the defensive side, the Ravens could miss linebacker Patrick Queen, who signed a 3-year, $41 million contract with their rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chiefs' most noteworthy offseason move was Worthy had 2,155 receiving yards and 26 touchdowns in his 3 years at Texas. While a productive pass catcher in college, his speed was probably the thing that propelled him into the first night of the 2024 NFL Draft. The 21-year-old ran the fastest 40-yard dash on record at the NFL Scouting Combine. This kind of vertical dimension was lacking in Kansas City in 2023. Patrick Mahomes' 6.9 adjusted yards per attempt were his fewest since becoming a starter in the NFL, per Pro Football Reference. His 6.6 average intended air yards were also the 6th fewest in the league, according to the NFL's next-gen stats. Expecting him to perform like Tyreek Hill would be setting the bar far too high for Worthy, but it's easy to foresee him having a Hill-like impact in terms of making big plays down the field. Based on Fowler's report, his role within the passing game will be more expansive than that as well. The Kansas City Chiefs' offseason roster continues to take shape, and General Manager Brett Veach is making some moves along the fringes. With that said, the 2 players involved in Monday's developments did play roles on 2023-24's eventual Super Bowl winning squad. Per the NFL Transaction Wire and multiple reports, Kansas City is bringing back linebacker Cole Christensen. This comes less than 2 weeks after the club withdrew its exclusive rights free agent tender for the 26-year-old before the start of rookie minicamp. Christensen now rejoins the team he's been with since 2022. In a corresponding move, the Chiefs have released defensive tackle Matt Dickerson. As Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest notes, he's a vested veteran. With that status and this being the offseason, Dickerson will pass straight through to free agency and is free to embark on his next endeavor. Following that roster swap, Kansas City's offseason 90-man total should still sit at 91 players. Christensen is a former undrafted free agent who spent his entire career in the AFC West. The former Army standout appeared in 5 regular season games this past campaign, logging 23 special teams snaps for Dave Tube's unit. During the club's playoff run through Super Bowl, he played a combined 54 special teams reps. Prior to that, he had 18 snaps in one game in 2022 to 23. The Chiefs are flush with depth at linebacker, so Christensen should be battling it out with others for a roster spot. Someone like UDFA rookie Curtis Jacobs is someone to watch on the roster bubble this summer. OTAs, mandatory minicamp and training camp, will clear up that picture a bit more. Dickerson's tenure in Kansas City ends with him having played in 12 games during the regular season. The second story is Xavier Worthy's record-breaking speed will show up on the field for the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins before the 2022 season, and they've been trying to replace Hill as a receiver who can test and beat the third level of a defense ever since. 2 straight Super Bowl wins will lessen the pain of that need. But if you watched any Chiefs tape last season and watched whatever was going on with that group of receivers, you certainly saw it. General Manager Brett Veach and head coach Andy Reid probably don't want to be in another position where Steve Spagnuolo's defense had to drag the team into the postseason in the first place. And that's why Kansas City traded up with the Buffalo Bills to select Texas's Xavier Worthy, who set the all-time scouting combine record with a 4.21-second 40-yard dash. The Chiefs aren't worried about Worthy's ability to take that speed to the field in a functional sense, and Worthy has already mentioned the similarities to the offense he was a part of in Texas. It's been fun, learning the new offense and seeing how they run stuff and just getting the flow of things. It reminds me a lot of Sark's playbook, a lot of similarities, just a lot of different names to it. It's going to be fun to play in this offense. I feel like Kansas City was my main spot. Pat Mahomes, I feel like everybody would want to play for Pat with how amazing of a quarterback he is and how versatile he is. So far, Andy Reid is impressed. I thought he did a nice job picking things up and working through. We asked him to do a whole lot of stuff there, Reid said, during the Chiefs' rookie minicamp. He was put in most of the primary spots, so it was good for him to be able to get in there and move around a little bit. Worthy has to work on a few things at the NFL level, but it's not just speed. Here he can get free with some pretty good route awareness, and it's important to know that the 5'11", 165-pound Worthy wanted to play for Sarkisian because he was so impressed with how Sark prepared Devonta Smith, a similarly sized speed receiver, for the NFL when Sark was Alabama's offensive coordinator. This isn't just a let's get a fast guy on the field and hope he can make deep catches thing. There's a lot of planning here on all sides. The third story is, should Kansas City bring back WR Byron Pringle? The Kansas City Chiefs have the rare opportunity to become the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. But with questions at wide receiver, the task gets even more difficult in what should be a stacked AFC. The Chiefs have added veteran Marquise Hollywood Brown in free agency and rookie speedster Xavier Worthy in the first round of last month's NFL draft. But with Rashee Rice facing legal issues in Dallas, his future with the club is uncertain, particularly in the short term. There could be room to add another pass catcher before the start of the season, and there are several options to add to quarterback Patrick Mahomes' arsenal. Former New Orleans Saints wideout Michael Thomas is available, but his recent injury history makes it tough for any club to put a lot of stock in him. Ex-Las Vegas Raider Hunter Renfrow is also available, as is Sterling Shepard and Martavis Bryant. But one name stands out when looking at free agent wideouts, and it's a familiar name to Chiefs fans. Byron Pringle played for Kansas City from 2019 through 2021 before spending the last 2 seasons in Chicago and Washington. While playing with Mahomes, Pringle caught 67 passes for 898 yards and 7 touchdowns, and hasn't matched that production since leaving. Pringle was undrafted out of Kansas State in 2019 and joined Kansas City that offseason, and immediately caught on as the team's third receiver, adding depth to an important position for Mahomes and coach Andy Reid. With his familiarity with Reid's offense, he could be a valuable asset in the run for 3 in a row. Former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Albert Wilson, an undrafted prospect that ended up accumulating nearly 2,500 receiving yards at the NFL level, announced his retirement on the evening of May 10th. Growing up, I can say my journey was one of a kind. both on and off the field, Wilson voiced on Instagram. Not wanting to be the winner and not wanting to prove I'm better, but strictly wanting to be put in a position to help my family. 10 years ago to this day, I started a journey I didn't see coming, he continued. May 10th, 2014, I was blessed enough to get that shot. Before I get out of here, I want to thank God for blessing me with such a great journey. I know all things are possible because of you, and nothing would be possible without you. After not getting drafted, I told myself all I wanted was 3 years. When I got to 3, you told me I could do 5. And when I got to 5 and fractured my hip, I thought 5 was the end of my journey, which exceeded my expectations. But no, you told me keep my head down and keep grinding it out, and blessed me with 3 more.